Welcome to the Word in Season Ministries broadcast with Pastor Mac McCullough and co-pastor Frida McCullough, located at 1520 Fagan Mill Road in Warner Robins, Georgia.
Good afternoon, Middle Georgia. Hey, this is Pastor Mac with the Word in Season Ministries broadcast coming at you at 3 p.m. this Sunday afternoon. I hope you've had a blessed day. I hope you went to church this morning. I hope the word was good. I hope the worship was good. I hope you really enjoyed yourself. And now you get a chance to spend some time with me for the next half hour. But it's not just me by myself. Come on, give it up for the lovely co-pastor Frida McCullough.
Hey y'all, what's going on, everybody?
How you doing today, girl?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good.
Are you excited about this month's broadcast?
I am. It's a special broadcast this month.
Tell the people what we're going to be doing.
So this is the month of July, and in the month of July is when Pastor and I got married. July 25th, 1992.
That's right.
1992, right. Wedding bells. And so this month we're going to be focusing on marriage. We believe that God has blessed us with a good marriage, a great marriage, and one that has been through some challenges but has survived.
That's right.
And so we want to celebrate marriages since it's our marriage month this month.
And I'm so glad that you allowed me to stay married to you.
I allowed you.
Yes, thank you. There were days that I didn't deserve to be married to you, but you kept me anyhow. Thank you.
You know what? I saw all the potential that was in you. And you know, my thing was, even for both of us, I'm sure that could be true. You know, the thing is, sometimes you look at what you're going through, and sometimes, and I have to be honest, I had to think, you know what if I let him go and some other lady take him and clean him up and put a sweater on him, have him looking all cute?
I was thinking the same thing.
Kidding.
I was thinking the same thing.
And somebody else takes him, I throw him out. Somebody else takes him, gets him looking good, and I've worked all this hard time, all this work, and done all this work all this time, and I just throw it away. No, we can't do that. I have to get something out of what I've invested. So I decided I was gonna keep you. What about you?
I agree with you. You said a key word there. Felt like I feel some kind of way now, but you said a key word there, in that you said that it's an investment, and you know, marriage is ups and downs.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like the stock market. You know, great investors know that you continue to invest even when the stock market seems to be in a dip. Actually,
you know, with investors, that's when they invest more. You know, when things are down, they invest more because, of course, at that point the stocks are cheaper. But the concept is that when it's lower, you invest more because when it comes back up, now it's worth a whole lot more.
It has more value.
It has more value, and so you know, you and I are living proof that you know we had to keep investing, even though there were times neither one of us wanted to invest. We had to keep investing in those times when it was lower, because now that things have come back up, we're now enjoying the fruit of our investment.
Yeah, it's crazy because, you know, we're talking about this and we look back almost 24 years ago now, Frida, and you know, you and I were both 20 years old, right? 20
when we met, 20, married at 21.
Right.
Young.
And we were very young. I was just a little A1C in the Air Force when I Airman first class for the other branches of service. and we really didn't have a lot. I was young and we were growing up, and we met in the summer of 1991. God, and I always say God blessed us, and He thought so highly of me that He allowed me to go all the way to Germany to meet you.
Yeah, I was like that hidden treasure. You had to come find me.
Yeah, but what a blessing in that God thought so much of me that my jewel, my diamond would be in Europe.
Yes. And I like how you put that, Pastor Mac. You make me feel special.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm just so glad that God worked that out for me. I remember walking into the chapel, you know, and seeing you there for the first time. At that time, I told you I thought you were married, so I wasn't interested. I just remember you singing at that revival. Yes.
And let me say this, too. He thought I was married because I was 19. I was in Germany with my family. My father had moved to Germany, and most of the time when women that age were over there, it's because they were married young and were following their spouses over there. And so that was kind of like just the thing, you know. So you thought I was married because that's just kind of how it was. If I was that age or out of high school, I'm normally over there you're married. So you thought I was married because I was there with my father. My mom would not leave me and my sister here in the United States. She said, and we're not, y'all are to go on with us. My mom, thank God for my parents, for godly parents who wouldn't just let us, live life like we wanted to. But they said, we're going to Germany. We were 19 and 20, and they said, you're going with us. And so we were there.
She was saving you for me.
That's exactly what it was. And that's why you love my mama so much right now.
That's right. She was working it out for me. And it's great. It's great because we started late on that summer. We met because we're very young in our walk with the Lord. At chapel.
Both of us grew up in the church, though.
Yeah.
But I think at that point we had just become really committed to God. You know, we
Right.
both grew up in church, so we went to the altar 15 times. I don't know about you, but you know.
Right. But the last time it was for real.
Yeah. This time it's for real.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And through different things that were happening at the chapel, you and I will later get together. We ain't gonna tell the whole story because we each have our version of that story for the radio community.
Right. We're not going to get into that debate today. We don't have that much time. But I can tell you this: one of the things I can tell you about us and about our relationship, for those who are listening, is that we were found working. And the reason we interacted in church is because we were both serving in church.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of I was singing and he was attending men's Bible study and doing different things.
Serving,
and
yes.
singles. We were serving in church, so that's kind of how our paths crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually, now this is true. You were friends with my father before you knew who I was.
Yes, I was. We were working out a deal.
You didn't even know that was my daddy. You didn't even know.
You're right. I didn't know. I didn't know it was your father.
But you latched on to my father as an older man, as a mentor to you, and you were single. And I remember you guys were as you told me later, y'all were in a men's Bible study together.
Exactly.
And then you kind of had latched on to my father, and is one of those men in the Bible study, an older man teaching the younger men.
That's right.
Yeah. So you knew my dad.
That's right. And from there, good things just began to happen. We started dating. And we dated for a year. Got engaged February 14th.
Actually, it was 11 months. We were married in 11 months. Right. Yeah.
Got engaged February 14th, 1992. And we came back to Sumter, South Carolina.
Sumter.
Canton Memorial Church of God in Christ.
This is the church.
Stop playing.
Okay. God in Christ.
And so we got married there, and but we made a commitment that we were serious about our walk with the Lord, and therefore we practiced abstinence.
Yes.
Before
we got married.
Before we got married. We weren't practicing afterwards. Before we got married. And I say that because that's not a popular thing these days.
Yeah.
You and I are witnesses that it can be done. And
yeah.
For a whole year, we dealt with that, but God allowed us to go through it.
I think He honored that too. I think He honored because we made a commitment to each other, and and prove the devil wrong that it can be done. Now we have to admit, everybody says, oh, you can't do that. It's not an easy thing to do, but when you commit your actions unto the Lord, the Bible says, therefore submit yourself unto the Lord, then you can resist the devil and he will flee. But the problem is we try to resist the devil without submitting to God first.
That's right.
And the devil's like, I'm not going anywhere because you ain't even submitted to God.
Right. And that's why it's important to connect with someone who has that same desire to please God that you do.
Right.
And sometimes I think people get in relationships where the person that they're in a relationship with is not as committed to God as they are. And so there's always that constant pull. There's enough pull on the relationship. But when one of you is trying to go with the Lord and the other one is not, it presents a problem. I'm
telling you, you got to have like-minded. And that's why the Bible says not about being unequally yoked. A lot of times we took that in the whole denomination thing or marry someone. But you got to be, your minds have got to be alike. You're not going to think alike because you and I are totally different.
Yeah.
But our goals, our thoughts, our mind towards God is the same. Now, our personalities, completely different. But, that's what's made us work that thing out in marriage right there. It's made us work it out and be able to work through this thing and keeping a mind of God, keeping a mind of Christ, to make sure that we can get through our differences and make sure that we can, be able to work this marriage out for the last 24 years. I'm telling you.
And that's great because when you said something there about God, I would say we were both God-driven.
Right.
And we get ready to take a break here in a moment, but one of the things I want to talk about when we come off of the break is not only were we God-driven, but during that time we were dating, we were goal-driven.
True.
And there were times when we would just sit and talk about the things we wanted to accomplish, not just for God, but in our personal lives.
Yeah. And here's the great thing I loved about you is that it wasn't just me talking about my goals, but you had goals that and I'm going to tell you ladies, if he don't have goals, if you ask him what he wants to do and he says, I don't know.
Or I want to do what you want to do.
Yeah, run. Run. Because I had goals, he had a vision. The vision wasn't quite about the two of us just yet, but even before we met, he had things in his mind that he wanted to do. Now those things changed because I remember one of those things you wanted to get out and go become a Florida State trooper, and then we started talking about getting married. That kind of changed, but you had goals.
Yeah, I was a cop at the time.
Yeah, you was a cop. So your goals change and our goals change, but at least you had some.
Right.
And so young ladies, I'm telling you, if he doesn't have goals, if you have to give him his goals, if you have to tell him what to do all the time, that might not be a very fun relationship to be in. But the fun thing about our relationship is that we both had individual goals, then we brought those goals together. So it's been a great journey.
One of the things I said to you all the time, just before we go to this commercial break, is that I would say that if you stick with me, I'll do what?
You're going to take me places. And boy, have you taken me some places. We'll tell y'all something about that a little bit when we come back off the break. But first, I want to talk to you about let you listen to a few things that are going on here at Word and Season Ministries. We invite you to join us on a few of these events. Listen.
Word and Season Ministries invites you to their annual Team WISM Community Family Fun Day at Rozier Park in Perry, Georgia on Saturday, July 16th from 11 to 6 p.m. Special guest artist Todd Delaney will perform. There will be food, vendors, games, prizes, music, a talent showcase, and much more. If you are an upcoming artist and would like to perform in the talent showcase, please contact the church office at 478-224-9476.
And we're back. I hope you can join us here at Word and Season Ministries on some of our events that we're having here at the church. But listen, we're back, and we left off when we were talking about the statement that Pastor Mac made to me. He made to me several times. He said,
"Stick with me, girl.
Stick with me, girl. I'll take you places." And you know, it's funny because that's truly been our marriage.
Yes.
When you say that, it's been our marriage.
Yeah.
We've been places, not just in travel, but in our marriage. We've accomplished a lot of things. We've gone places in our marriage that I think a lot of people say, man, how did you all accomplish that? But let's talk first about, some of the places we've been. I can tell you, Mac has taken me, he likes to travel, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all that Pastor Mac likes to travel. He likes to go different places, and so
I don't like to come back.
He don't like to come back. I'd be like, we have a family, we have a house, we have to come back, but he loves to travel. So we've been places together with planning and budgeting and cruises, and he's taking me to Hawaii and Aruba and I don't know, Cozumel, Spain, Turkey, Italy. Oh man,
several places in Europe.
In all places all over the United States, California,
yes,
New York. Man, we've been. Gosh, I can't even think of all the places we've been. Tennessee,
yeah, almost all over the country.
All over the country, in different places, and still have places to go. We're still gonna be going different places. We're not finished traveling, but even in all of that, some of the places we've been as a couple professionally.
Right.
We've accomplished things. You did 20 years in the military.
That's right. 20 years and 20 days.
He says 20 years and 20 days in the military.
Who's counting? But yeah, when I met you,
Uh-huh.
I was a young airman.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't seem like something we should be doing based on what my salary was, but
right.
We felt like we wanted to be together. And I always make that joke about your airman's ring. And I'm glad I didn't know the whole procedure years ago where you're supposed to buy like so many salaries,
so many months
salary
whatever.
The ring should be.
Yeah.
You got cheated. But
no, that's all right. I was just happy to have something on my finger.
But over the years, God has blessed us.
He has. But you started off like you said. When I met you, you were in the military, and even through that, we grew and watched you excel in your military career. And that was something we had to do as a marriage. In our marriage, we had to go into your military career. But one of the things is, you say that you were an airman. But one of the things I felt like, even as a wife, and something you can always attest to, is that I've always been there to try to help, even financially. I got a job. I had a job when we first got married, and I just didn't feel like, I know you're the provider, and you had no problem providing for me, and eventually when we had children, because we married almost 5 years before we had children, but and for our children, but I wanted to help. I knew that if we wanted to do things and we wanted to accomplish things, that I had to be realistic. I had to help. I couldn't expect for you to take me all over the world and I sit at home and not do anything. So you didn't make me work, but I wanted to help. Well,
one of the things I understood about that, Frida, is that from the beginning, when we got married, I understood that I was, as the head of the house, I was supposed to be the breadwinner. I was young, but my father had instilled those things in me about being the man and being the breadwinner of the home.
Taking care of handling your business.
Right. And so I understood coming into the marriage that even if you decided not to work, that I still had to be the breadwinner. But that's not been the case because you're so driven. you have your goals, and you just, wherever we've been, you've always said, I got things I want to do, and it's not just so we can do things or buy things, but it's just in you that you want to do things, you know. Primary testimony is that when we moved here in 2000 from Maryland, and you know, you had transitioned from your job up there, and you came here, and we were talking, and you was like, well, I think I'm going to get into real estate. And I was like, go for it.
Yeah. You've always encouraged me to do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah.
And here you are 16 years later, but most people will look at you now and see you doing such a great job with real estate. But I remember, if I can just be transparent, I remember you came home, you had taken your first test. Can I share that?
Sure.
You're like, I didn't pass my test, but you turned right around and went in there and you passed the test.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but for about 6 months, you were going to work like it was a 40-hour week.
Yeah, well, let's see. I was going in because it was 3 months before I had my first closing. But every day I had to get up and go to work every day, not knowing if I was going to get a buyer, not knowing if I was going to get a paycheck, you know. And I'm telling you, you remember you were deployed or something after my first year, and I remember my year got better, but I missed selling $1 million. I remember that, and not having $1 million. Let me get that straight. But selling $1 million in production, I missed that the first year, and I remember crying. I called you. I was so upset because I was so driven that's what I wanted to do. You know, I was so driven to do that, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this. It's so hard, but you encouraged me to keep going. You've always encouraged me to keep going, and I think that's a part of our partnership. That I have goals and I have visions, and I have vision and I have goals, and I bring them to you and you support me in them.
And I think this is a good segue to put in here too, as we're talking about goals and what we've been able to accomplish as a team. One of the things that's been very important to us is that from the beginning, when we were dating, we started saying, you know, when we were talking about what we were going to do in marriage, we started talking about how we're going to give. Right. And at that time, we were at the chapel, and we're like, we're going to give and we're going to tithe. And so I always share the story, and it's worth sharing it with the radio audience, is that I grew up in the church, and, you know, they always told me not to give money that made noise. So they didn't tell us to put change in.
Right.
Put some silent money in the offering. Of course, growing up, it was mostly dollars, but I made a commitment at that time that we're going to do at least $5
right
in the offering, and we're going to pay our tithes. And what we discovered is that over the years, God has blessed us. Then that $5 went to $10 in offering, in addition to tithing. Then that $10 went to $20 an offering, in addition to tithing, $25, and so on and so on. Right. And over the years, our giving continues to grow. And I remember the first time we were in a setting that we were there, and the call went for some people to sow $1,000. And I'm not saying this to boast or brag, but I believe one of our reasons that we've been able to move like we have is because money it's never been one of those things that we hold on to, like we ain't gonna never get $1 in our life. Right. But we know who our supplier is. Right. And so giving has never been an issue for us.
Because we've always depended on God. You know, you've had your military career, I've had real estate, but our trust has always been in God. Not in those careers, not in those things that we can do. But we've always trusted God enough, and we've trusted God. We've always trusted God with our money. Yes. And we've never said, God, bless every other area in our life. We'll give you every other area in our life, but we're not gonna give you our money. We've always been very open to God when it comes to money, and we've been conduits for God to allow money to flow through, because we stay open in that area and don't let that get in our hearts to where we become selfish about money.
Right. And I believe that has been a part of the foundation of our marriage. I mentioned earlier the abstinence. I think this other part about us being able to survive is our commitment to giving. Right. And that I believe that our sowing over the years has been a benefit to our relationship. Even years ago when the recession hit, you know, and that affected our relationship, you know, in terms of money. As you as a realtor, where we saw the market slump. Yeah, we did. But you and I both can testify, we never lost a thing. We didn't miss anything. God kept on blessing us. Checks were still coming to us in the mail.
And it was like the woman who gave to Elijah first, that every time we went back, it was there. Now, we didn't have a lot of excess, but but when we went to to the barrel. When we went back and we went and what we needed, God supplied it. He supplied our need. And so, I believe that we can trust him in those areas, and then we'll get to a place where he supplies our wants. And, and I don't want to make it seem like we've never gone through anything in our marriage, and we've never had to deal with, even, remaining in the marriage and all of that. So you hear me? I know we didn't have God in our marriage. If you didn't have God in your life and I didn't have God in my life speaking to me, we would have never made it, because every man is left to his own judgment and his own thought process. I believe it was our strong relationship with God individually that helped us as a couple, because when I would want to leave or you would want to leave, or I'd say that's enough, I can't take it, the Spirit of God would be able to speak to each one of us and bring us back together in marriage. So I don't want to just make it seem like it's all highs and everything has always been great, but we know that this one thing is that our trust and our belief has always been in God.
That's right. And so God is still blessing you because you obeyed and did what he told you to do as it
related to you staying with you. I'm still blessed because I stayed with him.
Still blessed. The blessing's still coming your way. And I'm joking, but I'm still blessed because we're still together and we're succeeding. Listen, we're getting ready to take a quick commercial break, but we're going to talk a little bit more about, because you talked about how do you survive when you're going through things, what helps you to get through those types of things. So stay tuned.
Mark your calendar. Friday, July 15th at 7 p.m., Clean Comedy Theatrics and Singing is coming to the Museum of Aviation in Warner Robins, Georgia. Word and Season Ministries presents a night of clean entertainment out of South Carolina. Don't miss the hysterics or the great food. Tickets are just $20 and can be purchased at the Word and Season Ministries church office. Call 478-224-9476 for yours today.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, I hope you'll be able to join us on the 15th of July.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Right here at the Museum of Aviation.
Yeah.
Going to have a good time that night.
It's going to be fun. That whole weekend's going to be fun.
Well, listen, I've been enjoying our session today, Frida. We're sharing things, but it also causing me to just kind of remember over the years, how God has continued to bless us and strengthen us, in the good times and in the bad times in a relationship.
Marriages need that. You got to keep remembering. You got to keep remembering, not all the bad stuff, but keep remembering the good times, too, to help you get through the bad times.
Right, and that's what, even when we do marriage counseling, premarital counseling, one of the things we try and help people understand is that you're going to have to work at it.
Yes, marriage is work.
It's not somebody sit on the lazy boy and hope everything's going to work out.
No.
A lot of things in marriage are intentional.
All things in marriage, I think, are intentional. That's Travis Green talks about he's intentional. We've got to be intentional in marriage.
Right. I always laugh at the preacher years ago where people say love is blind, and then he went on to say, but marriage will open both your eyes.
Man, if that's not the truth.
Marriage will open
both of your eyes. This is so true.
And so you have to work at it. And one of the ways that I discovered that we worked at is that we had good examples. We marked those people who we saw were working positively in their marriage. We
healthy marriages.
Try to surround ourselves with healthy relationships, mentors, and not only that, but one of the things I always liked is that we were always felt like, with our cars, we take our cars in for routine maintenance. And so we would all find ourselves at marriage workshops. Even when we didn't think we needed it, we would go anyhow.
Even if we didn't want to, we would go in. Because sometimes, you're like in a place in your marriage, like, I don't even want to hear it, but we knew we needed it.
Right.
We needed to be there.
And because if you'll have a teachable spirit, if you can listen to somebody, especially for us as men, if you can listen to someone, if you can let somebody else tell you something, because at the end of the day, you don't know as much as you think you do. And marriage is going to always be challenging. As the more you stay with each other, the more you grow. There's always going to be you're going to always need to learn something. And so, if not, you'll grow stale.
Right.
And and nobody wants to be around anything stale. Nobody wants to eat anything stale.
Right.
You want to keep it fresh.
Yeah, and listen, on that whole listening to people, be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you let speak into your life. As a wife, as a husband, as a marriage. Be very careful who you allow to speak into your life. get good sound counseling, godly counseling, or advice or whatever it may be, mentors. Everybody's marriage is not perfect, but you don't want to be around that marriage that both people in the marriage are disgruntled, because they're going to make you disgruntled. You want to be around people who have been through something and can tell you how to do it, can tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. Don't do this. But make sure you get sound advice, and don't just listen to anybody. It was one thing we had, thank God, we did have people around us that gave us sound advice.
And that's why I'm such an advocate, Frida, and I know you'll agree with me, of being connected to the church.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times over the years when I didn't want to come, I came anyhow.
Right.
And I heard a word that spoke to me where I was about marriage, or even just praise and worship itself.
Yes.
Would do something. And the enemy wants to keep you out of that type of environment because he wants to work on you. But I can't tell every man that's listening to me right now, you got to connect with the church. You got to be faithful to the church. You got to go whenever you can when the church doors are open, serve in your church, get involved, because all of that's only going to help you out. And anything else, the enemy's just trying to keep you from getting what God wants for you.
Yeah, because what it's going to do is strengthen your personal relationship with God, because if you have a personal relationship at home with God, and then you go into the church and you're surrounded by others, all it does is just help to boost you and strengthen you and to, push you into where God would have you to be. And so, the Spirit of God will begin to work on you as a person and show you your downfalls, because the thing about marriage is we love to talk about how the other person's doing, what they're not doing, but when you stay connected to God in church and in your personal life, the Spirit of God begins to speak to you about what you're doing and what you're not doing, and how much you run your mouth, and maybe you need to be quiet, and maybe you shouldn't say it this way or whatever. And before you know it, you're so busy trying to work on yourself that you're not paying much attention to what your spouse is or is not.
Right, because I believe God will give you wisdom. And wisdom, as we understand, is God showing you how to do something.
Right.
And if you'll connect yourself in a way with God through the church, God will give you wisdom, man, on how to deal with your wife.
Right.
And not only wisdom in how to deal with your wife, but with your children.
That's right.
I throw a plug in for our children. We got a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Yeah, he's almost 18.
And what I've discovered is that God has to give me wisdom on that, because I can't raise my kids the way my mom and dad raised me, or your mom and dad raised you.
Right.
Because number one, we would be in jail.
Hey, don't put that out there about my mom and daddy, man. Don't put that out there.
It's the truth. Some of our listeners know it's the truth. But God had to give me wisdom how to deal with our children.
Right.
And how to raise them. And not only that, but he gives us wisdom in how to deal with each other. Right.
When to be quiet, when to talk. Right. This is not a good time. All those different things. When sometimes people say, I don't know, I can't figure him out. The Spirit of God, it says he will lead you and guide you into all truth. And that's even including with your spouse. He'll lead you and guide you into all truth. And the other thing I want to say real quick before we have to leave is that being married, it's about being selfless. We go into marriage trying to figure out what I can get. But if you spend your time trying to find out what your spouse likes, find out what they want, find out what makes them happy, and do that. And then they're doing the same thing. It makes marriage good, and not just, what about me, and, what about what I want, and they're not giving me what I want. But when you flip that thing around and become selfless,
that's right,
and self-giving, as you talked about, with when you preached the message about servanthood, if we understood that about marriage, it would make our marriages so much better, because we get to that place where I'm not doing it because he wants it, or I'm not doing it because she wants it. But marriage makes you become selfless.
And you have to be willing to mature in marriage. That's the final thing.
Oh, Lord.
And I say that because we don't have much time left, and we'll hopefully over the next couple of weeks be able to deal with it. But what happens is if you don't mature as a party in the marriage, you waste time.
Yeah.
You get robbed of time.
Yeah.
And so many people, they go through their lives getting robbed of their time because they never know how to mature in marriage. And you say, if I get out of this one and get in another one, I'm going to be okay.
But you're still the same immature person.
But you never mature, and that one doesn't work out because you don't mature. And you find yourself 40, 50, 60, up in life where you never mature, and you wasted so many years, so much time. Wow,
we've got to grow up, man. I'm telling you. And you know what? Like you said, marriage not only opens your eyes, but it should help you grow up. We've grown up together.
Oh, yeah.
I've known you now over half my life. I've been with you over half my life. Got married at 21, and we're 45 years old now, and we've known each other a very long time, and we've grown up, But, we got to get out of here. We can keep talking.
But I'll say this. I'm convinced God puts us in marriages because the marriage does help you grow up.
It should, yes.
It challenges you as a man.
Yes.
You don't like that whole, I got to be accountable and responsible to someone. God knew exactly what you needed. That's why he put you in marriage. Now grow up.
Oh, Lord.
Stop
Pastor
complaining.
Mac. Oh, Jesus. He going to make some men mad now.
Ain't nothing wrong with her. You need to grow up.
Oh, wow.
I got to go.
You got to go. You can sit us all day. We can talk
Security.
about the way.
Don't watch me as I leave the station.
Well, it's a good word. It's a good sound word. It's good advice. But listen, we got to get out of here. But you can join us every Sunday at 3 p.m. right here on 95.5 or on 1350 a.m. Or you can come be in the sanctuary with us at Word and Season Ministries, 1520 Fagan Mill Road at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Or right now in the summertime, you can join us at Wednesday night at the Well every Wednesday night, starting at 6:30 with prayer, going into worship at 7. Or connect with us on our webpage at wordandseason-ga.com. If you like social media, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, connect with us on Instagram, watch us on YouTube or Periscope. However you want to connect, we'd love to have you. And remember, for every season, there is a word in season. We got to get out of here. Enjoyed being with you all today.
Listen, God bless you. See you all month right here every Sunday at 3 o'clock as we talk about marriage.